People aren't ignoring you by accident. They're not forgetting to reply, speaking over you, cancelling on you, or treating you like background noise because the universe is unfair. They're doing it because you silently taught them it was acceptable. And what hurts the most isn't how they see you, it's that deep inside you agree with them. You don't really believe your time is valuable. You don't treat your goals like they matter. You don't hold yourself to the standards you desperately wish others would hold you to. You want respect as a gift, not as a consequence, and life doesn't work like that. Respect is not something you ask for, it's something reality is forced to give you when your actions stop matching a weak identity. You've built a life around avoiding discomfort. You avoid confrontation, so you say it's okay when it isn't. You avoid effort, so you quit when things get hard. You avoid rejection, so you never take the shot. Then you sit in your room, frustrated, thinking you're unlucky. You're not unlucky, you're untrained. You've trained yourself to retreat at the first sign of challenge. You have potential, yes, but potential decays when it isn't converted into competence. Someone less intelligent, less talented, and less special than you is passing you right now in every area of life because they're willing to be uncomfortable longer than you are. And every time you choose comfort over responsibility, you reinforce to yourself that your future is negotiable. Let's talk about the first strategy, self-respect through non-negotiables. You don't need 50 habits, you need a few things that become law in your life. Non-negotiables are promises to yourself that you keep even when no one is watching. Wake up when you said you would, not when you feel like it. Go to the gym when it's inconvenient, not only when you're motivated. If you say you'll study for 2 hours, then 2 hours is not up for debate. Here's the part most people miss. The real value of these actions is not the result. It's the identity you build every time you follow through. Each kept promise whispers, I can trust myself. Each broken promise screams, I am not serious. The world responds accordingly. Why should anyone else trust you if you don't? The second strategy is enforcing boundaries without apology. You have spent years being easygoing as a disguise for being afraid to be disliked. You say yes to favors you resent. You laugh at jokes that cut you. You accept crumbs and convince yourself it's generosity. And here's the brutal truth. People around you already know you're uncomfortable. They just know you won't do anything about it. Boundaries don't require yelling, drama, or paragraphs. Boundaries are simply actions. You don't reward disrespect with more access. You don't keep showing up for people who only call you when they need something. You don't explain your standards to anyone who benefits from you not having any. You'll be surprised how many misunderstandings disappear the moment you are willing to leave. The third strategy is learning to become competent instead of merely inspired. You've been consuming motivational content like entertainment, collecting quotes instead of skills. You feel productive because your brain gets dopamine from the idea of change, while your life stays exactly the same. Respect grows where competence exists. Become undeniably good at something real. Learn skills people value. Train your communication. Improve your body language. Learn to think clearly, write clearly, speak clearly. Competent people don't need to ask for respect because competence changes how you move, how you speak, how you enter a room. It's very hard to disrespect someone who is obviously capable, and if they do, it no longer affects you because your self-image isn't made out of air. The fourth strategy is building physical strength and personal discipline. This isn't aesthetic vanity. Your body is the container of your mind, and a weak container collapses under pressure. Training your body rewires your psychology. It teaches you to do what is necessary rather than what is comfortable. It forces your mind to watch you suffer willingly and survive. Every rep is a message. I don't run from discomfort. People feel it. Posture changes, tone changes, The way you occupy space changes. You are no longer asking for permission to exist. Weakness is loud because it constantly tries to prove itself. Strength is quiet because it doesn't need to. The fifth strategy is removing environments and people that reward your worst habits. You are not as independent as you think. Your standards rise or fall to match your surroundings. Sit with people who gossip, waste time, and complain. You will join them. Stay with people who fear growth. They will sabotage yours. Most people never change because change would threaten the relationships that keep them comfortable. The cost of growth is that you will outgrow people, roles, and sometimes entire identities. But here's the question you avoid asking. What is the cost of staying? Another year pretending you'll start soon. Another decade explaining why your potential was never realized. One day you'll wake up and realize later quietly turned into never. Let's go deeper into something uncomfortable. You've been negotiating your self-respect for attention. You chase validation from people who don't even like themselves. You beg to be chosen instead of becoming someone people feel privileged to choose. You stay where you are not valued because walking away would mean facing yourself in silence. That silence is exactly where your new life is built. When you stop chasing attention, you are forced to confront the emptiness you were distracting yourself from. Sit with it. Let it burn. That feeling is not a problem. It's data. It tells you where your work is. Now we move to radical responsibility. Nothing changes until you stop. Outsourcing blame. Yes, unfair things happened. Yes, people hurt you. Yes, you were dealt a difficult hand. None of that changes your responsibility to play it well. Responsibility isn't about fault. It's about power. As long as your situation is someone else's fault, you've given them control over your future. Once you say, "My life is my responsibility," something shifts. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What am I going to do about it?" The victim mindset feels comforting because it removes responsibility. It also removes your ability to change. Another key strategy is identity shift instead of willpower battles. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your self-image. If you still see yourself as the lazy one, the shy one, the undisciplined one, every attempt to change will feel like acting. You're not trying to force new habits. You're becoming a new type of person. You don't try to go to the gym. You are someone who trains. You don't try to read more. You are a learner. Every choice asks a simple question: who am I becoming right now? Identity drives behavior, not the other way around. Here's something few people will say openly. You will have to accept being misunderstood. When you raise your standards, people who benefited from your lack of them will call you selfish, distant, cold, arrogant. They are not describing you. They are describing the version of you that no longer serves. Their comfort, let them. You are not obligated to be small so others don't feel insecure. Growth is lonely at first because your new life won't fit your old circle. But that loneliness is temporary. Self-disgust is not. Choose carefully. The final and most important strategy is relentless consistency. Not perfection, not intensity, consistency. The respect you're chasing is not earned in a week. It is accumulated brick by brick. You will have days where motivation dies, where no one notices, where progress feels invisible. Those days matter the most, because that is when you decide whether this is a phase or a new identity. Show up anyway. Do it quietly. Let time compound your effort until your results become impossible to ignore. One day, people will say you changed. They won't see the nights you wanted to quit but didn't, the boundaries you enforced alone, the promises you finally kept. They will only see the finished product and call it confidence. You will know it's just self-respect. Here is the truth that either breaks you or frees you. No one is coming to rescue you, apologize enough, or finally see your worth in a way that magically changes everything. The world reflects you back to you. Change the standard you hold yourself to, and watch how every interaction begins to shift. Not instantly, steadily. Respect is gravity. Once you have it for yourself, everything else starts to orbit around it. Until then, you will stay trapped in the same cycle. Feeling invisible, resenting others, bargaining with effort, waiting for a life you haven't built. So from this moment forward, stop begging to be seen and start acting in a way that makes self-betrayal impossible. Earn your own respect first, not in words, not in affirmations, but in the quiet, disciplined choices no one applauds. The world will catch up eventually. And when it does, respect won't feel like a gift anymore. It will feel like the only logical response to the person you became.